Good for you, man. Like, get your bag, strike while the iron's hot. You're on the hottest show on television right now. Go be in more stuff.
Yeah.
Jeremy Allen White, is that his name?
I don't know.
Jeremy from The Bear?
Yeah.
Go be in more stuff too, because strike while the iron's hot.
You look like him.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to go look at myself in the mirror because I think he's attractive. We all look the same to you, don't we? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dirtying the Frame. We have a very special episode for you today because we are talking about my favorite movie I've seen all year. I'm very excited. It's called Theater Camp. Assad, we're talking about Theater Camp.
Oh, Sarah, the streak is broken.
What?
I saw a lot of bad movies this year. Our streak is... our boys are home. We brought our boys home.
We brought our boys home. Let's celebrate for America.
Yes.
Theater Camp. We went and saw it at the Grove. I got nachos with no jalapenos because they were out of jalapenos.
Remember when we went to a movie with our friend Jovan who put jalapenos on popcorn?
Yeah, that was weird. Do you guys do that? I heard another person recently told me that they do the same thing.
Jalapenos on popcorn?
Jalapenos, and they put a bunch and they like dump it in their popcorn and they shake it up.
I'm not mad at it, but just eat it outside.
It's like microwaving fish at the office. Come on.
Come on, man.
Joel, salmon again, huh?
You really got a thing for tilap.
Soul. Soul. All right. Okay. What do you put in your, have you ever put anything anything unconventional into your popcorn? People also put like M&Ms in there.
You know, there's a weird thing that, I'm glad you asked
Thank
this.
you.
Because there's a weird thing that just happened maybe 7-8 years ago. Maybe it's been around for longer, but I've just experienced it. Where they have the little separate seasonings for your popcorn now.
Yeah.
If I didn't go see movies with people and I saw it by myself, I would go nuts with that seasoning.
Wait, why?
I'm a little shamed to be like, hey, hand me that seasoning, fam. Hand me that Cool Ranch seasoning over there. Let me dump that on my popcorn like there's not enough shit on this popcorn. But
you can buy that at the movies sometimes.
Oh, I know, I have it in my man bag.
Yeah,
I'm sponsored.
I actually only know about this because of you. I've seen you purchase it.
Yeah.
It's like a little pouch of like Lowry's.
Yeah, it's so good. And it does make the popcorn so much better. Now your hands become more of a mess. It becomes a little harder to eat, but boy, are you on a Southwestern treat.
What's a flavor that you would introduce that's not already been introduced in the powder form that you could add, you think that they should add to their lineup to add to your popcorn?
Here's the thing. Anything food related flavor, salted caramel me.
Salted caramel popcorn. Okay.
You know?
Okay, but remember, they're adding it to an already buttered and salted popcorn. So it's not going to be like caramel corn where it's just like, like virgin popcorn with caramel on top. It's going to be, here's your seasoning of salted caramel to put on top of your
I apologize. I thought you were asking a question
popcorn.
without judgment. I'll say then...
I don't know how to do that.
Sarah, you know my stances. Every caramel should be salted. Every vanilla should be vanilla bean.
Every vanilla should be bean.
And every aioli should be chipotle.
Ooh, I'm with you on that last one.
Thank you.
I'm very much with you on that last one.
Thank you.
Guys, we're here to talk about a little movie called Summer Camp. Theater Camp.
It was so bussin'.
Theater Summer Camp.
So bussin'.
Theater Camp. It was so bussin'. What a delight this film was. What a pure, just delight. It was like sneaking out of bed at midnight and eating a whole carton of ice cream, and you just feel so happy, and it was sweet, and you feel a little bit sick, but you're like, oh, I did something fun, and I did something for me, and that was how I felt when I left this movie.
Are you okay?
I've never been to summer camp. I don't know how it goes. This is a film, let me give you the logline. As summer rolls around again, kids are gathering from all over to attend the Adirondack Acts.
Adirond, I think.
Adirondack Acts. Acts is in all caps, which I think is very clever. A scrappy theater camp in upstate New York that's a haven for budding performers after it's indomitable? Yeah. That's a word. That's a hard word. Indomitable founder Joan falls into a coma. Her clueless crypto bro son, Troy, is tasked with keeping the thespian's paradise running. This is an improvised film, meaning that there was a loose script, but that was it. So most of the film is improvised by the actors, which I thought was also very, very cool. And a great excuse to not have to be a very good film writer. maybe.
True story. And we've made enough stuff, Sarah. I mean, not to this level, but we've made enough stuff that like the importance of getting the right cast together is the first brick that kind of has to be laid when you let talent play like this. You know?
Yeah.
And it does. It's kind of a double-edged sword because it does bring you out of the film when you know acting well enough to know when people are improvising.
Yeah.
But you're having so much fun when you know they're improvising that you know it's working in the film that you almost would rather it, you know. And this film has a lot of it.
Yeah, and when they do it well, which I imagine is so hard. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible at improv. Like, put me in that situation, I'm shitting the bed, you know. But it.
You have a suitcase and you're worried. What's in it?
Yeah, snacks. See, terrible at improv. And I was holding it though. I'm good at space work. See, I was holding my suitcase. I have a suitcase full of snacks, and I'm worried because everybody wants my snacks or their chocolate and they're melting was what I was thinking. I don't know. No, but these people were not terrible at improv as I am. They really, really killed it. And I think that the people who made this film grew up doing theater, and so they were like, we have to write, and I believe that they've been working on this for years and years. It was like pre-pandemic, brought it to Sundance, and it got some much deserved attention, positive attention. So this movie is really, really funny, but before we get into it, let's talk about trailer trash.
It's trailer trash.
I feel like we need something. I think that was really good. Are you a good improviser? I think you're a good improviser.
Yeah, fucking gooder than...
What's in your suitcase?
Snacks.
No, you can't say the thing I said. You're supposed to say yes and.
Damn it. Oh, what's in your suitcase? Yes and.
Yes and. No, you have to say something else. You can't say yes and not say. You have to follow it up with something.
This was a competitive trailer trash for me.
Was it?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, let's start with you then, because you feel away.
Okay, in the Hulufication of America, when one thing happens on Tuesday and Hulu has a special about it on Wednesday, this falls underneath that. Dumb Money, which is the story of the GameStop stock that went crazy and the people that benefited from it. I know it has top 5 actresses Sarah hates on for no reason, Shailene Woodley in it. But
Dumpster diver.
This was close as competitive, but I've given awards to the other trailers in other podcasts. So I would say Dumb Money. I don't think I'll actually end up seeing it. I just really liked the trailer. But it does bring up a question I have for you, which is like, do you feel a little uncomfortable when movies are made from things that have happened so recently, or is that just me?
I don't feel uncomfortable isn't the word.
Okay.
Why do you think it makes you uncomfortable? Should we talk about that?
Oh, I guess the artist in me is like, oh, we ran out of stuff to actually make movies about. That when something happens recently, we're like, oh, let's just make a movie about that. It's like, damn, you don't have other projects you've been thinking of making for 20 years, you know?
How much time would you like from the event to the film that's made about the event? So like Oppenheimer, for example, that happened a long time ago. Does that work for you?
If it's my world, I think you just start making movies about the Holocaust now.
Just now.
Yeah.
So anything previous is too much.
Too soon.
Too soon. Needed more time.
It kind of freaks me out. You know Hulu does this a lot where it's like Fire Festival, then the next day the Fire Festival doc.
Yeah.
It's just a little strange, but Dumb Money was a good trailer. I thought they put the trailer together really well.
Well, this will say something because I don't remember seeing that trailer at all. What do you think about Beanie Babies? Is that too soon? That's got to be too soon for you then.
The takeaway I had from that was, again, we talk about this a lot, the actors that Hollywood has no idea what to do with. Post-Succession Sarah Snook, I don't think anyone will have a clue what to do with. You're already a woman and no one writes great roles for women. And now you're kind of looking for your next thing.
And she's not, 19 and wearing a tank top.
Yes. So that was my takeaway. I was like, oh, maybe I don't want to see that movie, but the concerning thing is like, I hope she has a bright career post-Succession. She's so fucking good.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about that too. But Elizabeth Banks is in that movie and Zach Galifianakis, so maybe it had promise and just
didn't. It's like a fart transplant.
Yeah, that was so funny. Okay, so that's the one you're most excited to see. All right, my most excited to see was Poor Things, which we've talked about on another pod, but it's Emma Stone, Willem Dafoe. Emma Stone plays a sort of like, I don't know from the trailer, and I haven't done any research, sorry. I don't know if she's like an AI type of a robot doll, or it seemed to me more that she's a woman who had some sort of, he's been experimenting on her and has messed with her wiring.
Yeah, it's not clear in the trailer, but it kind of makes it interesting. I wonder if it was purposeful that they did that.
Yeah, or it seemed like maybe she had an accident, or you know, back in the 20s and 30s, women were just popping pills, right? Weren't they just like taking a bunch of Mickeys and Jimmies and martinis? It's late. But no, didn't they like, you know, if women were upset because they weren't allowed to leave the house and they were just like barefoot and pregnant, and then wouldn't the doctors just be like, here, take this for your nerves, and they were just kind of like drugged up all the time?
I can't confirm that, but it sounds like something we would do to women in our history.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can't confirm or deny that either. Maybe it's just something I read in a book one time and it's not a real story. But so it might have been something with that. But anyways, I feel like it's relevant. I feel like it's interesting. It looks original, which, you know, we're here for. So we'll go see it. Poor Things with Emma Stone and Willem Dafoe, two actors who I actually really like, despite what Assad says.
You're one of my favorite actors.
Thank you.
And I love seeing your performances in the Emma Stone movie of you trying not to hate on her for 2 hours.
You're so dumb. Shut up. There's certain things that Assad will take and he'll make up in his brain and run with just to bother me. Like, he'll say I don't like Emma Stone, and I don't know why he says that. Like,
you said Emma Stone was QAnon.
No, I didn't. I didn't say that. Emma, call me. Don't listen to him. It's fine. I don't want to date you, but I do want to be your friend, perhaps. Okay, least excited to see, go.
Of the trailers?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you have one?
I had The Holdovers as a trailer, which is Paul Giamatti is the dean-ish or a teacher that holds kids in a class over summer that don't have a family to go to, and he watches over a couple kids. And we have spoken about this, Sarah, before, but Paul Giamatti is a good actor, but he's definitely in the class with Jamie Foxx where he thinks whispering is good acting.
Is it not?
Oh, and Paul Giamatti can whisper a scene, fam.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You get over there, and you block the entrance to the West Wing.
Oh.
Right away. Stat.
I want to see a scene with him and Jamie Foxx speaking seriously, because you will have to turn that volume to 50.
They'll just try to out-whisper each other, just getting quieter and quieter. I don't like Merlot. It's for losers. You don't know anything about wine.
I played Ray Charles. How about you?
My least excited to see was the movie Strays. So for those of you who aren't familiar, it's a rated R film that uses CGI to bring dogs to life.
I love this. I'm pumped for this. I love a Doberman Pinscher that can tell you to fuck off.
Now, I loved Homeward Bound. As a child, you know, one of my favorite movies. I ran the tape out. But I'm not sure who this movie is for.
Me.
Oh, I did write 13-year-old boys and my brothers. So I guess Assad is a 13-year-old boy.
Racist. You wrote brothers?
Yeah, with an A. I'm changing it. I did write ERS, but you know, I guess Ted, that movie Ted with, again, Mark Wahlberg. I guess that movie Ted did well. Maybe that's why they're making it. It's for the Family Guy contingent. It just seems so odd to be a rated R film, but we're going to see this movie that, like, the star of the film is a dog, an actual dog who they did some magic to make his mouth look like he was talking to say filthy things. It's just like, I guess. I just don't see why this story needed to be told.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But on that note, we can talk about a movie whose story did need to be told.
Because it's bussin'.
Can you explain to the people why you keep saying bussin'?
Okay, the character in
Theater camp.
What's his character name? I don't even know the character name. I'm so sorry.
It's Troy.
Jimmy Tatro plays Troy Rubinsky, who takes over the theater camp, and he is every bro you've ever met. I grew up in Utah, and I've met 30 of this guy. You know, just like says slang that's outdated.
Oh, so
probably
good.
listens to a little too much Post Malone that is affecting his credit score.
So funny.
And everything's busting to him.
Everything's bussin'. First thoughts, we had so much fun in this movie.
Oh my God.
We just had the best time. We giggled like little schoolgirls, and we had a blast. They had a moment. They had a moment in the film where they straight up tell the kids, "Congratulations on being the most talented kids at theater camp," which I thought was really funny. So, for those of you who don't know me, I grew up in the theater. I was a child of the arts, which is why I'm so weird and almost unbearable as an adult. And I didn't go to a sleepaway theater camp, but I did go to a summer camp where we had to drive an hour every day. And you spent the entire day there. And it was so fun, man. We put on a play. We did Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. And we
Were you
did...
Cinderella?
I was not.
Ooh.
I was the queen.
Who was Cinderella?
A prettier girl than me.
Bitch.
She was thinner than me.
She sounds like a slut.
But I'm more talented, and she's not acting anymore. How does it feel, Christina? Do you have your own podcast? She probably does. I think everyone does. But yeah, it was great, and we did like clowning. We did like clown school for one day, which they teach you how to like walk with certain parts of your body, and we did hand-to-hand combat, which they also talk about in this show. And it's just a real nerdy, fun thing to do as a kid, and I loved every second of it. I also did a lot of musical theater, and that's why I think this film was so fun for me. But I did experience children's theater to be very much like that. Like, you know, there was a hierarchy. There were the kids who got the leads and everything, and it was all to be expected. Like, you know who was going to get the lead and everything, and then there was the rest of the kids who was like filling in tree number 2, tree number 3. You know, oh, look at little Johnny isn't a tree anymore. He graduated and now he's got a line. You know, it's very exciting for them. But yeah, there was some great one-liners in this film. They said, "We're theater people. We know how to turn cardboard into gold."
That's actually phenomenal, right?
I love it.
I know they said it sarcastically, but I was like, that's kind of meaningful.
Oh, no, I think it was. I think
Yeah.
it was dead serious, and I think it's totally true, and it speaks to our hearts as creators to be like, you know, maybe we don't have $1 billion to prop up something, but we'll figure it out and like how to make it work, and because that's what it's about. It's about using your imagination. And
Which this movie really is. I mean, when you watch this film, it's filmed terribly. You know? It looks like a film that had zero budget. It looks like a passion project. It looks like a bunch of friends got together and made a film together, which is really meta when you think about the source material being theater camp and them having to make a lot of, entertainment with not a lot of budget, you know? And this film did that. You know, they don't touch on it because it's not that self-serious, but it meant something to me to be like, oh man, it made me motivated to make something of my own because this film seemed attainable, you know?
yeah, totally. It was super fun. What was your rose and your thorn for this movie?
Okay, I would say, well, I want to touch on why I think this movie is good.
Tell me.
For reasons that are individual than what you've kind of hit me to. One, I have a thing because I come from a small city. I grew up in Davis County, Utah, and I have a thing for movies that are focused on a small issue that everyone around takes so serious.
Yeah.
And that's inherently funny to me and very relatable to me. You know, we had parades that were like, we got to stop the whole city because the Davis County parade is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, in the grand scheme of things, you knew it didn't mean anything, but it was the most important thing that happened to these small people's lives. I shouldn't call people small, but it was a simple life, you know?
Yeah.
And it's funny to see what small town people really care about, you know? The second thing is that you hit me to this whole theater world that I had no idea about. There are a bunch of kids that are pretty top heavy with talent, and everyone else is like not that good. There's always one or two that are, but all of them still are so self-serious.
Oh my God, of course.
And it's just funny because like I moved to LA maybe 12 years ago, and that's where I met a lot of people that take their craft serious. It's funny, this theater people who take their craft serious from such a young age, you know? They have mentions of like 12-year-olds being on vocal rest and, you know, and just like 14-year-olds running out of their bunks to see what role they got in the play. You know, it's like I would have enjoyed it if you didn't hit me to it with Waiting for Guffman. But now that you have, it made it so much more funnier for me and so much more relatable. So Rose, for me, I love the main girl, Molly Gordon, who I got hip to on The Bear first. I think it's a unique character they chose for her because it's very of the time where everybody wants to be very woo-woo. They want to wear a flowy dress. And in reality, they're taking audition calls in the backstage after they're telling people how to be so one with themselves. You know? I think that's an interesting character choice, and I just genuinely like seeing her on screen so much. She's definitely my Rose, my takeaway from this film.
Yeah, speaking of Waiting for Guffman, to go back a little bit to what you said, if you have seen Waiting for Guffman and you liked it, you will love this movie. I can confidently say.
They had to have seen it.
Yeah, for sure, they've seen it. And it's about, as I kind of talked about, this woman who's the matriarch of this camp, and she's been running it for years, and she's almost got this godlike status within the camp. Everybody's just like so excited about her and loves her. She goes into a coma. I forget how, but she goes into a coma, and it's kind of and they poke fun at not knowing her status throughout the movie. Like, we're just told that she's in a coma, but nobody knows if she's dead, if she's what's happened, if she's awake, if she's not.
I believe she had a stroke because Jean Valjean had a strobe light scene or something like that.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. That's hilarious. That's exactly what it was. She had a seizure when they put a strobe light in Les Miserables, which is hilarious in and of itself because that show is set in the 1800s or something and would never need a strobe light effect. It's hilarious. So then her son has to come over and take over, but the two directors of the camp are Ben Platt and Molly Gordon. And they are these kind of washed up actors who probably used to go to the camp but never quite had the guts to try and take it out and make it on their own or like go to New York or anything. They auditioned for Juilliard, but they didn't get a call back. So they went back to the camp and they've taught there for years and years, and that's their safe space and that's what they're doing. My Rose was, and forgive me, I don't know how to pronounce this person's last name, but Owen Thiel? Thiele.
He was cooking.
He plays the costumer, and you guys, when I tell you his one-liners are worth going to see this movie, I'm going to read you a couple of my terrible memories of what they actually were, misquotes. So, again, this is all improvised. So they're going through auditions at one point in the movie, and he's the costumer. And he says, "It says here you're allergic to polyester. Why?" Just like the longest pause, and he just says, "It says here you're allergic to polyester. Why?" And then it cuts to the little girl's face, just being like, And this is all improvised, and all these kids are really theater kids, and they said that they went back to one of the director's theater camps and used it to shoot, and used a lot of the kids to actually be in the show. Another one, he says, so Joan, the woman who runs the camp, told him when he was a kid, she told him, "You have no talent, but you look great, and your style is perfection." He's like, "She was right." So I became a costumer. And then, in the trailer for it, he says, "We will no longer be doing piercings in the cabins because someone has snitched." And then he calls out the person who's Nancy has snitched. And then they cut to this little girl with her ears pierced. Just like, it's so funny.
He has one right before the big show.
I was mad at you guys earlier, but I'm not anymore. Like, they're all doing this, they have this big show at the end. It's like the performance to cap it off, and it's going to make or break their camp. And they're all in a huddle, and they're all saying these positive things to each other. And they're like, "Okay, what do you want to say?" And he's like, "I was mad at you guys earlier, but I'm not anymore." It's just so fucking dumb. He was the best part of the film for me, although it was really hard to pick a best. I wanted to just... I know it's probably not interesting to listen just to us gush over this movie, but I think he was the highlight of it. But everyone just did such a great job, and I really, really had a hard time thinking of a Thorn. I think I don't have a Thorn for this movie. I couldn't think of anything that didn't work for me off the top of my head. A lot of great actors, a lot of great improvisers, and a lot of people. More importantly, maybe they're not great actors or improvisers, but they really understood the assignment. They understood theater. They understood the tone. It all worked and was firing on all cylinders for me. I think it was really funny. I got a lot of laughs out of it, and it was lighthearted and fun and my type of movie from top to bottom. Did you have a Thorn?
You know, if I had to pick one, I didn't really love Noah Galvin, who played Glenn Winthrop, who was the stagehand, and then he ended up being the main character at the end. I know.
You didn't love him?
I didn't love him. What? You know, I know. I like the story of being.
I think he was the other director.
Oh, really? I do love the story
writer.
of someone that was comfortable in the dark, like behind the scenes.
Oh, I thought he nailed it.
But finding his calling in front of the camera. I do love that story. I just don't know if that character worked for me.
Okay.
You know,
Well, you're
an asshole.
a bigot.
And transphobic.
And transphobic. I thought he was great. I thought his performance was great. I loved his character, and I think I liked him. I think he was supposed to be the kind of like most relatable, character, and I really liked him a lot. So I think you're wrong, and I think you're dumb. I think you're a stupid person who's not worth.
The dummy dum dum.
Just a big dummy dum dum. Accent police.
Oh.
Do I detect an accent? I do not.
You do not.
I do not detect an accent.
Okay, we're on a roll. We're on a little roll here.
Good job,
okay.
guys.
Not even a little Asian manager?
Oh, he was so funny. Oh man, they had one kid who, and I never saw this in my theater experience as a child, but holy moly, this little kid. They decided to have a little kid who didn't want to be. He was in theater camp, but he wanted to be an agent. Like he didn't want to be an actor like everybody else. So he was taking his time off in between scenes, like making calls and trying to get jobs for his other theater going, and he wore a little suit and he took his job as an agent very seriously, and I thought that was hilarious. That didn't work for you. You didn't like that.
No, not really. But
I thought
funny.
It was hilarious and I loved it. Also worth mentioning, Ao.
It's just her summer, man.
Yeah, she's in everything.
It's just her year.
She's
Shout
in.
out to her.
What is she in? A movie called Bottoms, which we might need to go see.
It's coming out soon. Yes. Bear.
She's in The Bear. She's in this. She was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, just crushing shit.
She's in a bunch more too. I mean, she's in everything.
She deserves it. She's phenomenal.
And good for you, man. Like, get your bag, strike while the iron's hot. You're on the hottest show on television right now. Go be in more stuff.
Yeah.
Jeremy Allen White, is that his name?
I don't know.
Jeremy from The Bear?
Yeah.
Go be in more stuff too, because strike while the iron's hot.
You look like him.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to go look at myself in the mirror because I think he's attractive. We all look the same to you, don't we? For those of you who are new to the podcast, my gummy rating is the last thing. 0 is the highest rating you can get. 5 is the lowest rating you can get. It's telling you how many edibles you need to take to enjoy this movie. I will say take 0 edibles. 0 edibles needed to enjoy this movie. Perfect. It was super fun. See it accordingly, but I would say everyone I've talked to who's seen this movie has really had a good time. I would be interested to know, if you're not a theater person, if you go and see this movie, if you enjoyed it. I can't speak without bias because I am a theater person. I do turn cardboard into gold. There's a scene in this movie where they're all playing cocaine.
Yes.
These little kids dressed in disco wear, just like making their way into this giant paper mache nose. I mean, it's silly, it's fun, it's, don't take yourself too seriously. Go see this movie. And if you do, if this, review makes you go see it and you're not a theater person, let us know if you liked it, what you thought of it, if you got it, if you had a fun time. My gummy rating is 0 gummies needed. You do not need to take a gummy. You do not need to be high to go see this movie. I was high when I went and saw this movie, and I loved it. And then I saw it again, not high, and I really loved it too. That's a lie. I saw it high both times. I just tried to be cool and say that I wasn't high. I was high both times. I was high both times. But I had so much fun. 10 out of 10, 0 out of 5 gummies. Definitely recommend seeing Theater Camp. And as always, let us know what you'd like us to review next. We saw 3 movies this weekend, so give us 3 more to see next weekend, because we're having fun, and I hope you are too. Thanks for watching, as always, and we'll see you next time. Bye.